They laughed at us, RTX 2000 series owners. But guess who's playing Cyberpunk at 60 FPS? Who's laughing now, bitch?
Yeah.
Alright, so it's here. Cyberpunk finally came out.
You lie! You lie!
Did it live up to the hype? Well shit, does any game ever live up to the hype? As it stands now, it's a 90 on Metacritic. It was a 91, but the reviews in progress are probably going to push that down to an 88 due to the insane amount of bugs and the absolutely unforgivable console launch. Well, last-gen consoles.
My eyes! My eyes!
But now that I think about it, I'm looking at Cyberpunk on the PS4 and the Xbox One, and I'm looking at the date those consoles were released and the date of the hardware inside them, and I'm thinking to myself, nah, that's to be expected. GTA 5 on the PS3 and the Xbox 360 was abysmal. I completely skipped out on GTA 5 until it came to PC. Does this excuse developers who have been working on a game for years that was planned to be released on the last gen consoles and then it turns out the game runs like ass on those ones? Nah, it's not excusable. Especially when CD Projekt Red has been promising people for years that this would come out on PS4 and Xbox One. And don't even get me started on my GTX brethren. I feel very bad for them, especially when you know your GPU is more than capable of running this game. But as it stands now, unless you have DLSS, you might as well just wait. And in my opinion, I believe Cyberpunk does deserve to be docked points for this poor optimization. But since the game hasn't crashed for me once, and it's been running at a very stable 60 to 80 FPS with DLSS on my goddamn 2060, I don't have many complaints. I'm actually able to enjoy the game. Yeah, sometimes character models don't render properly or it takes a few seconds for textures to come in, but as you can see here, this is the worst of my bugs. It makes you wonder how reviewers can say things like, Skyrim's a 9 out of 10, even though it performed objectively horrible on the PS3 and the Xbox 360. It was a buggy, glitchy mess that sometimes didn't even work. Either way, unless you have tensor cores or a next-gen console, you're not going to be enjoying Cyberpunk too well. That is, if you're okay with putting up with, well, PS4 and Xbox One performance. But what's there, what functions, is without a doubt one of the best open world RPGs I've played in a long time. It's up there with Kingdom Come Deliverance and New Vegas. Is it perfect? Fuck no. Is it great? Hell yes. Does the score reflect that? I think so. But, there are some, well, there are some people out there who believe a 90 or a 91 is a failure.
Alright, what's going on, y'all? BrokengamezHd here, and oh boy.
Shout out to Stefan for drawing me this bong. I'm really gonna need it. You guys should go request art from him.
Alright, so first of all, let me apologize for the audio quality and any background noise that may be.
What you should be apologizing for is the fact that I have to sit here and stare at your ugly mug for the next 15 minutes. Dear God, please, beard management.
I'm recording this from my phone and I am not home right now. So, let me just say, first of all, this video is probably gonna get some dislikes.
Oh, you poor thing. By the way, you forgot your
soybeans.
Some? Nah, we're about to change that from some to majority.
It may attract the angry, seedy PR stands and, you know, their rabid fan base. They may not like it. I'll probably put a little salacious title.
Coming from the guy who loves to damage control for Naughty Dog. I mean, come on. Your defenses of The Last of Us 2 were so piss poor, I'm convinced Anita Sarkeesian could have made a better video.
The story in The Last of Us Part 2 will continue to be a point of contention, but after all the smoke has settled and the backlash is gone, I believe people who finally give it a chance, who were originally against it, will actually like it. And I believe history will look positively upon this game, and all the negativity surrounded and like shrouded this game will eventually just dissipate and fade. That is how I feel about The Last of Us Part 2's story.
6 months later.
But, you know, I'm just here to speak facts because somebody's got to say it. Somebody's got to use a little bit of logic here, right?
Oh, well, I'm curious to know where that person is. Are they off to the side where the camera can't see? Where are you?
So, my point in all of this, and, you know, I know a lot of you have seen what I've said on Twitter and everything like that.
Ah, yes. Anybody who's ever followed Broken Games HD on Twitter absolutely loves those childish rants he throws on Twitter, where he mass blocks people or reports them. Oh, but you see, it doesn't just end at blocking and reporting people. No, it goes beyond that. You see, this guy loves to also go out and try to challenge people to fights on Twitter, and when they actually end up showing up to his town, he hides in his house and pretends like he never challenged them.
Last thing I'ma say on this. If you would actually drop everything and go fight someone over the internet, you have nothing going on for you on life. If you still care about street credibility, you obviously have no career, no education, no life. You called that man out cause you thought he wouldn't pull up, you tried to call his bluff, now you acting like you righteous and was just trolling. Stop acting like you tough when you know you are cold pussy. You mad or nah? I never left my house cause I didn't care whether or not he showed up, cause why would I leave my house to meet another man? Mayo. If he dumb youth to do it, not my fault. That mentality is exactly what got PPL like you in jail. Trying to prove street cred, Mayo loser. You and your fault is still trying to be tough and be street. I'm college educated and got a gov job, but I'm supposed to be meeting random dudes. You're truly an idiot and emotional if another man can get you to leave you home. Where has trying to prove ya street cred got you? Oh yeah, LMAO. Stay mad, convict. I will always have a better job than you. I will always be better than you in life. Your highlight is YouTube. My highlight is my career, which keeps going up. Wasn't you working for GameStop few years ago and you was like 30? Yeah, woman.
And these are grown-ass men on the internet challenging each other to fights over video games. My god, you're a goldmine, BG. All the shit that goes on around you is forever going to be on the internet. I hope you do realize that.
And, you know, people are asking me about my comments about CD Projekt Red and Cyberpunk and the Cyberpunk MetaCritic. People are asking, BG, how is a 91 on MetaCritic a bad score?
Well, I don't know, BG. When you spend 5 to 6 years praising Sony for having exclusives that reach the 90 on Metacritic, people are going to expect you to give the same treatment towards Cyberpunk, alright? They're not going to expect you to all of a sudden change your mind out of nowhere and think 91 is a failure.
So let me just make this very clear. A 91 on Metacritic is not a bad score. It's not a bad score, and I never said it was. Never said it was. You can't find me saying 91 is a bad score.
Oh no, indeed, you're right. You never said it was a bad score. You simply said it was a failure. So it's nice to know that within the first, minute of your video, you've already contradicted yourself, but I'm not surprised there. Nah, dog, y'all just contradicting me, y'all. No, shut the fuck up.
That's number one. Number two, let me make clear that I do not judge, I do not base my feelings, my opinions on games based on Metacritic. I do not buy games based on Metacritic. I do not formulate my opinions based on Metacritic. My point is, if we are going to use Metacritic, which many people do, to judge, I guess, what the consensus is of this game, then 91 on Metacritic is not okay for Cyberpunk 2077 and CD Projekt Red.
So Cyberpunk getting a score that basically 99% of games out there don't get isn't good enough. Good enough for what exactly? Because you already told us you don't make your purchasing decisions off of reviews, so what the fuck matters exactly?
It is not okay. It is not good enough. And people don't understand why I'm saying that, right? It's the simple concept of standards and expectations, right? You got to understand, when you reach a certain level, a certain pedestal that either you put yourself on or the people who support your product put you on, you are elevated to a higher expected standard. Good or great, even amazing sometimes, isn't good enough. And that's just a fact.
A what? A fact? Yeah, no, you're fucking insane. No, that's not a fact. That's just your retarded mental gymnastics. You're trying to spin this into some sort of failure on their part, and nobody's convinced. Well, aside from the PlayStation fanboys in your comment section that are threatened by Cyberpunk.
And this is not specifically to CD Projekt Red.
Well, if it wasn't specifically targeted towards them, then why is Cyberpunk the only game you're bringing up?
This applies to a lot of developers in the industry. Some people like to just think I'm picking on CD Projekt Red. No, this applies to a lot of developers in the industry. You got to understand, when you embrace a certain title or a certain role, and CD Projekt Red has clearly done that with being one of the best developers in the industry. Me personally, I don't believe that.
Okay, so when the fuck has CD Projekt Red ever come out and told them, yeah, we're accepting the role of being one of the best developers? That's us. You know, the same CD Projekt Red that went out of their way to go and congratulate Horizon Zero Dawn for winning so many awards and getting such a high score.
But when you talk to the fans, they say that when the industry has clearly claimed that they believe CD Projekt Red are one of the best in the industry. When you reach that level, the curve is different. The curve is applied differently to you. Your achievements are scaled differently, right? When the
Oh shit, oh yeah, he's short-circuited. Sorry guys, his brain was hard at work. Let's reboot him here real quick. I don't want him to overdo it. Last time he was trying to break a PS3 disc and he almost hurt himself.
That's what the fuck I think about it. Wait. Piece of shit break! Mother... Piece of cheap shit. That's what I think about this fucking game.
CBG, this is exactly why I told you to stay off the soy.
When your game, your product, is in development, for like 8 years, and it's described with words like genre-defining, groundbreaking, revolutionary, all these adjectives, all these, descriptives. By the way, those didn't come from me. Those came from the people who talk about this game and hype this game up. I'm just enforcing what all of you told me.
The enforcer? You're the enforcer? You and your 98-pound ass? Your wife could bench press you. Shut the fuck up. You couldn't even enforce your own strength on a goddamn game disc. You're taking the word of people off the internet who were overly excited for it, and now you're holding a company accountable for it. That doesn't make any fucking sense. Oh my god, how much more of this do we have? I know I'm barely into the video, but it feels like I've been here for a goddamn eternity. Let's fast forward to some shit that actually matters. I'm not gonna pause at every chance I get anymore. That was funny when people used to fill their videos up with a bunch of bullshit. Nowadays, I have to sit here, look at some soy boy cuck talk for like fucking 15 minutes, and I'm supposed to make that entertaining. Give me a break.
When you put a developer on the industry, when you put a product when you put a developer...
See, it's bullshit like that makes me not want to sit through this video. 15 minutes of stuttering and fumbling over your words is not exactly fun to watch.
A lot will be expected from that product. You can't just hype something and then if it doesn't completely live up to what you hyped it to, you can't just make excuses. There are no excuses. There is no excuses. You can't just say, oh, that's still good. No. You can't just say, oh, it's still great. No. Like I said, this game was described as all those words I mentioned already. Game of the year, game of the generation, one of the greatest games ever made. That's what I was told prior to this game's release. That's what I was told. I don't doubt, like I seen some footage last night. I even said, oh, this footage is looking much better. I don't doubt that this game is going to be good or even great. But that's not what I was told. I was never told I was going to be given a good game. I was never told I was going to be given a great game. I was told groundbreaking, revolutionary, genre-defining, game of the year, game of the generation. That's what I was told. So all I'm doing is just keeping the same energy for what people told me.
And likewise on the internet, I've been told that the earth is flat, vaccinations are bad, God exists, Epstein killed himself? I mean, obviously, when I'm told something on the internet by people, what they said has to hold true no matter how bizarre and unrealistic it can be at times. But, I don't expect any less from BG. If you told this guy the sky was blue, and he hated you, he would spend the next month trying to make videos convincing you the sky isn't blue. Did Cyberpunk completely live up to everyone's expectations? No, nothing ever will. Just because it doesn't live up to those expectations set so high that no other game in history will ever be able to meet, does not mean the game is a failure. And you of all people who doesn't even give a fuck about review scores, you should have been able to see that score and say, hey, that score probably doesn't actually reflect how good the game could be. It could be even better or worse.
Right? When you are one of the greatest in the industry, one of the best developers in the industry, having a bunch of bugs and glitches in your game, that's not acceptable. Even if it is like some type of open world game where bugs and glitches are accepted, a lot of things that have happened around this game, even outside of the finished product, is just not acceptable from a studio that's claimed to be one of the best in the industry.
I can't really disagree with him on the bugs and glitches. We really shouldn't be excusing bugs and glitches, but at this point in the industry, when we're building game worlds as large as the one seen in Cyberpunk with as much detailed assets shoved into it and mechanics and programming, and it's supposed to run on 2 generations of consoles plus multiple PC configurations, it's nearly impossible for this game to be bug-free. And if it could have been considered quote-unquote bug-free, I bet if like one person found a bug in the game, BG would still make this video. For fuck's sake, this game could have gone 100 on MetaCritic, and BG would still make a video saying, let me tell y'all why this is still a bad thing anyway.
So when they made The Witcher 3, nobody was really expecting The Witcher 3 to be that amazing. I personally don't like it, but nobody was really expecting it to be that they considered it groundbreaking, right? Nobody was expecting that. So they overachieved. You got to understand, in that situation, CD Projekt Red overachieved. Now, once they did that and they were catapulted to be one of the best in the industry, okay, your expectation may have been here before. Now it's way up here. So your next project, it can't be even a little bit down here. It can't be close to your last product. No, it's elevated now. It's up here. It has to surpass your last project. You can't match that. You can't do that. You have to surpass it.
Okay, tell me, BG, if you weren't so convinced that they were that great back then why were you convinced now? Something tells me maybe you just have a hate boner for CD Projekt Red, because it's becoming very obvious. Earlier, you were blaming people for creating such unrealistic expectations, but you're the one creating the expectations right now. You're the one setting that standard that every project following the previous project has to excel to a level nobody would ever expect. No, stop. You're setting your own expectations to a degree that they'll never be met on purpose.
Okay, so once again, they set that standard. Not me. I'm just enforcing it. So now when they are claimed to be one of the best developers in the industry, now you're graded on a certain curve. You're graded on a curve now. Before, like I said, you might have been underrated. The Witcher 3, you overachieved. Now you're looked at a certain way. So 91 on CD Projekt Red, that's not good enough.
So let me get this straight. CD Projekt Red made a very good game, actually several really good games, if you want to pretend like The Witcher 1 and 2 don't exist. And now it is their job to make sure that their next game is also really good, and it turns out it is. So where did CD Projekt Red go wrong? Where they went wrong is that they're not a Sony exclusive. That's where they went wrong. Cause exactly where is BG's video panning The Last Guardian? You know, one of the most hyped games of all time. A game that was in development for years, and everybody was looking at it as if it was supposed to be the next godsend of gaming, because Shadow of Colossus and Ico were so successful. But guess what? It turned out it was a buggy mess. The mechanics were mostly broken, but it was really pretty. Did BG then make a video calling out that game? No, he didn't. The man is specifically targeting Cyberpunk because he was wrong, and he's so goddamn butthurt about it.
I'll give you some examples, some analogies, right? Sports, music, whatever.
Okay, yeah, no, we're not gonna sit through this. We're done. I don't need any stupid sports analogies right now. His main point has been made. Cyberpunk is a failure because 91 on MetaCritic is not enough because The Witcher 3 was higher, and he expected this game to excel to levels that no other game will probably be able to get. Either way, we're done listening to him. Any point he has to make afterwards is just literally there to extend the length of the video, and the analogies are terrible. Absolutely awful. What do I think of Cyberpunk now that I have about close to 10 hours in it? Well, since I'm actually able to play it properly without any hiccups, no crashes, pretty stable frame rate, some unpolished bugs here and there, but nothing that breaks the game, I can tell you without a doubt, it really hurts me because this game is so fucking good. The way I can narrow it down is if you're a lover of Western RPGs, this game is absolutely for you. I can't write out a review for you because, as you guys know, I'm not exactly a talented YouTuber. But the state of this game at launch does break my heart because it's so good and only a select few will actually be able to enjoy it properly, which is inexcusable on CD Projekt Red's part. The game lacks proper optimization for the 10 series of cards and for the last gen console. Current gen can run this at about 60 FPS using the last gen console assets, and the 2000 and 3000 series cards can run this above 60 FPS with DLSS. But again, that really narrows it down to a select few who can properly enjoy this game. If you paid $60 and your game is not working and not running right, that's not excusable, and it should have been BG's sole point. But unfortunately, he's not smart enough to realize which points of his are good and which ones are bad. And I'm super disappointed with CD Projekt Red. Super disappointed with them. Having put an embargo on the console versions and forcing people to use B-roll footage because you didn't want them to see the state of your buggy mess is some seriously anti-consumer bullshit. People had a right to know how bad the last-gen console versions were going to be. But because CD Projekt Red wanted that money on their hand right away, they denied that to you. It's a move that's starting to make me look at CD Projekt Red differently. Has the success gone to their head? I don't know. It certainly seems like it's going in that direction, especially when you screw over a huge chunk of people who bought this game, expecting it to run decently after 8 goddamn years of development. Look, all I can say is your game is good. Fucking goddamn good. But for the love of God, fix this thing.